Okay, so we're going to work a flower stitch. This is going to be a middle flower stitch, so you get up to the stitch count that it tells you. So in this case it was chain 3 and then double crochet in the next 10 stitches, and then you begin your flower stitch. So it's telling you to work in the next and previous post of the row below. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to look, so our stitch is here and it goes right into this post. So that's our previous post. This is our next post. If we turn our work sideways, we see our V's. We see that it's connected to this post right below, and that's the one we're going to work around. So for the first stitch, I usually keep my work facing me, and I'm going to insert my hook from front to back and then back out the other side of that post. So again, yarn over, go straight between. So you just look straight down and it's the next opening that you come to, and then pop out the other side of that post, yarn over, and now I'm going to turn my work sideways because I'm kind of working this way on the post now, so it's a little bit easier to work that way than keep working straight on. So I turn my work sideways, I pull up a loop, and then I'm going to do just a regular double crochet. Now this is where sometimes pay attention right at this spot, because even I do it. I start working into this post I just made. Remember, we're going to be working into this one post this whole time. So the next step is to chain 3. So do nice tight chains so you get nice points. And then it says slip stitch in the 3rd chain from your hook. So technically the first one you made, just insert your hook anywhere in that chain and yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. Notice I kind of hold on to it to kind of keep my loops all in the right spot when I'm pulling through. It kind of helps to pull through. So it's my little trick. So this is where sometimes I'll want to go back around this post I just made. Do not do that. Go back to the post that you were just working around. So yarn over, go back through. You can see it, if you kind of pull on it, you'll see it lift up. So just head right through that hole there to get all the way around and do another double crochet. I'll show you my grab on my slip stitch again. We're doing another chain 3. I pull through and then I kind of hold on to this loop and I grab my chains to help me pull through, because otherwise I'll show you what it kind of does when you don't hold on to it. Again, I do a 3rd double crochet around that post. And I chain 3. I insert my hook, and it's kind of, you kind of lose it. It's just hard to do. It's hard to put a slip stitch through that chain without losing it, because usually I like to turn down to get through my chain, but it's in the way. So if I hold on to my chains, then this doesn't move, so I can turn my hook down to get through the chain. So it's just a little tip on working through chains like that. Again, we have 3 so far. Just count the ones that are around that post. We're going to do 3 more and 3 chains with the slip stitch, and then we'll do the other side of the flower. Okay, I'm just making my last slip stitch. So now I have 6 on this post. So they're all lined up, and you'll see they naturally want to turn because it's like a big shell. And now we need to make the other side of the flower. So it tells you to turn your work 180 degrees. So 360 is a full circle, 180 is half circle. So we're going to flip it so that we have the previous post where we were coming from. Remember, this is our row that we've been working. So we're turning our work so the previous post of the row below, which is the post right next to the one where we just made all those double crochets around, is facing us, and it's up on top so that we can work across it this way. So we're going to yarn over, and the same thing that we did here, we're going to reach through. So however you want to get through this first one, however's easiest. If you just fold it in half, you fold your work in half, it kind of pops up. Whatever's easier for you to get through the first one. But you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do 6 or 1 double crochet, chain 3, slip stitch in the chain 3, and you're going to do that 6 times on this post. And that's going to create the full round flower, and then we're just going to slip stitch it all together at the end. So again, do 6 on this side of the double crochet chain 3 combo, and then we'll meet up right at the end so I can show you where to put that double crochet that says behind the stitch. so you can see that, because that's a little difficult to see. So finish those and I'll meet you back here in a second. Okay, I just finished the 6th double crochet chain 3 combo. Now I'm turning my work so that my row is again all straight and situated. So the next thing I want to do is slip stitch to kind of form this whole flower together in a round. So I need to go in that first double crochet I made. So look for, basically what you can do is look for that point that you made, that first slip stitch with the chain 3, and then look over to your right or left if you're left-handed, but over to the right, and you'll see that very first double crochet because it kind of comes right from the row, so you can get a little confusing. So look for the point and then go right to that double crochet next to it and slip stitch through there. You can tighten that down because you're not going to use it. And now we have our fully formed flower. So the next thing it says is to double crochet in this post here, which is kind of difficult to see because we worked all the way around it. But if we turn our work sideways, we still have that little V on top. It gets a little squished down from working all these double crochets around it. It kind of squishes it all together. So you gotta look out for it. Don't miss this stitch. If you miss it, you're gonna decrease your every row that you have a flower, and eventually you'll have a little triangle at the end. So you gotta get in this little scrunched up double crochet here. So look where all of these posts were worked and go right to the top, and that is where you need to work your next double crochet. So there's still a little hole there with that piece of yarn, so you can see that hole. You go right through there and do your double crochet. It's going to bring it right up at the top, so you can see from behind that we have 2 double crochets right next to each other, and I'll show you how to work in those on the way back so that you don't get confused on where you should place your hook. And then you just keep going with the rest of the row. So that's how you make your flower stitch. I'll show you how to do the backwards work in here, how to work into these double crochets on the way back right now. Okay, so once you get your flower made and you're working the next row behind it, you just want to make sure that you're putting your stitches in the correct place, because the flower stitch almost looks like its own stitch. But just remember as you're working, so this is the one right before the flower, or technically the second to before, just look at the actual stitches below. So if I pull this apart, because up here it kind of looks like I might have one here, one there, just pull it apart and look at your post from the row below. So you'll see 1 and 2. So go right above that one, you'll see the stitch on top, do your double crochet, and then as we look again, if we look straight on top, you only see 1 V, so that's going to help you pick the right spot as well, but also just pull that apart, look for the 2 posts, and go into that stitch there. So it's gonna, the little picot or the chain 3 slip stitch, as it says in the pattern, it sticks up above the row, so it kind of might throw you off just a tad, but just remember that you're working just those 2 stitches on either side of it, and count your stitches at the end of the row. So you should have 22, so if you have more than that, then you know you added an extra stitch right near that flower. So just continue on and you'll be set.